Welcome to LiveDaf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem, and welcome back to today's Daf Hayomi Menachos 12m. We begin at the Mishnah on Yud Aleph Amud Beis, 7 lines from the bottom. Back to the pigul discussion. Just as by the animal karbanis we have pigul, which involves a kohen who, as he was processing the carbon, as he was involved in one of the avodos of the carbon, so it's either during the shchita, kabbalah of the dam, haylacha, walking the dam to the mizbeach, uzrika, applying the blood to the mizbeach itself. During any one of those activities, he had intentions, which were verbalized, of chutz lezmani, that he's going to offer the carbon for consumption, whether the parts that go on the mizbeach, the fats, etc., or whether the parts that are meant to be consumed by humans, kohanim, or the owners. He's going to do it outside, beyond its right time. So in a week's time. That constitutes pigul. And anybody who partakes in this carbon, even within the correct time, he's chayiv kares. That becomes forbidden material. So the machshav of pigul, the intention, has to be expressed during one of the primary avodos. So just like by the animal carbon, we have those 4 that we mentioned. Correspondingly, by the mincha, we have the act of kmitza, which corresponds to shchita. It's separating the part that meant for the mizbeach. We have placing it in the kli, that's like the kabbalah of the dam. We have haylacha, walking to the mizbeach, and finally haktorah, while he's burning it on the mizbeach itself. That's like the zrika. Should he think during any one of those 4 steps that he's going to eat the carbon or offer the carbon to the mizbeach beyond its correct time, chutz lezmano, it makes it pigul. Says the Mishnah. Here are some examples. He's doing kmitza on the mincha, lechel shireh b'chutz, with the intention to eat the leftovers outside the migdash boundaries. So that's chutz l'mkaimeh. Chutz l'mkaimeh is not pigul. It's only pasul, right? Or kazayis mishireh b'chutz, or just the kazayis of the leftovers of the shiraim outside the migdash. Or alternatively, he's doing the kmitza on condition lahakter kaimtza b'chutz, to be makter the chaymetz outside. Or kazayis becomes b'chutz, or kazayis, a portion of the chaymetz outside. Or lahakter levanasa b'chutz, or to be makter the levana, part of the mincha outside the Beis Hamikdash. In all these, it's just pasul, becomes pasul because of this incorrect thought. But imay karas, but there's no karas for one who consumes the carbon. But here comes actual pigul of chutz lezmani. He does the kmitza lech l'shireh l'machar, condition to eat the shiraim tomorrow, beyond its time, or kazayis mishireh l'machar, or kazayis of the shiraim tomorrow. Lach becomes l'machar to be makter l'kaimis tomorrow, or kazayis becomes l'machar, or kazayis of the kaimis tomorrow, or lach to levanos l'machar, or to be makter l'vayna tomorrow. In these cases, it's pigul, which comes along with a kares liability. So this is pretty much the general package. Kol ha'kaimetz, onesim b'kli, hamelech v'hamaktir. If the kohen, while engaged in any one of these 4 primary steps, kmitza, nesina b'kli, walking to the mizbeach, or placing on the mizbeach, and during which he thinks machshav of pigul, lechel davar shedarka le'echel, to consume something which is meant to be consumed. For instance, to eat the shiraim tomorrow, as opposed to eating the kaimetz. He's not meant to eat the kaimetz at all. It's meant for the mizbeach. So the machshav of pigul of chutz lezmani has to relate to something which is edible, just in the right time. Or ulahakta davar shalak lahakta, or he had a mind to be makter, material which is meant for haktorah, i.e. the kaimetz. So it depends. Chutz l'mkaimeh, if he had a mind to do it in the wrong place, yeah, pasul, but there's no vein by kares. But if it's chutz lezmani, beyond its right time, it is labeled as pigul, which comes along with a kares liability for one who consumes the material of this carbon, chayil and kares. But there's one more condition, bulvad, sheyakriv hamatek mitzvas, at the mater. Mater means the permitter. So by an animal carbon, it's the blood which permits, the processing of the blood permits the carbon for consumption, right? By a mincha, it's the kaimetz. So he has to, if you want to have pigul, it has to be purely pigul without any other interfering elements involved. Such as, if he thinks, chutz lezmani, but he also throws in a little chutz l'mkaimeh, or in the case of a mincha which becomes disqualified by shaloi l'shma, like the minchas choyte, if he throws in shaloi l'shma, since he added other problematic elements, it's no longer purely pigul, and it doesn't have the status of pigul. Provided that the mater, in this case the kaimetz, was processed properly or purely for pigul's sake, without any other elements mixed in. Ketzad, Karev, Amatik Mitzvah. Let's have some examples where this in fact held true. Kamatz B'shtika. He did the Kmitza without any inferior, nefarious thoughts. And then he shifted over to Chus Zmanai. Nosam B'kli, V'hoylech, V'hikti Chus Zmanai. So he did everything Chus Zmanai. Except for the Kmitza, we had nothing in mind. So here, there are no other, interfering elements, right? So it's Pigel. Another example, he started with Chus Zmanai, and then he quieted down. Oish Kamas Chus Zmanai. The Kmitza was on Chus Zmanai, but then the next 3 steps were done without anything, any problematic thoughts. Or it was completely Chus Zmanai. Oish Kamas V'Nosam B'Kli. All of those were Chus Zmanai. These are 3 examples of proper Pigel. Zeo Shekarav Amatik Mitzvah. On the other hand, let's have some examples otherwise. Keitad loikarav hamatik mitzvasa. What are examples of loikarav hamatik mitzvasa, where there are other problematic elements mixed into the process? And that preempts the pigel from landing. The Kmitza was done chuslim kaimai, with the intention of doing something outside the Beis HaMikdash. So that's not a pigel thought. In fact, that interferes and prevents the pigel from landing on the carbon, despite the fact that he continued with pigel. But since he started with chuslim kaimai, and then went on to nasam b'kli b'olach v'yikti chus zmanai, or the other way around, he started chus zmanai, then he shifted to chuslim kaimai in the middle. But then he shifted to chuslim kaimai, nasam b'kli b'olach v'yikti chuslim kaimai, or he did everything chuslim kaimai. That certainly is not pigel. In all these examples, you don't have your pigel. Furthermore, by a certain specific menachos, like a Menachos 12m or a mincha of a Isha who's a soita, which is called Menachos Kanois, if there is Shaloi Lishma, that also disqualifies those minchas. So if you have Shaloi Lishma mixed in, that too interferes with the pigel process. Menachos 12m or Menachos Kanois should come to Shaloi Lishma. If the Kmitza was not Shaloi Lishma, that's an interfering thought. Although he shifted then to Chus Zmanai, that's not going to make pigel. Nasam B'kli b'olach v'yikti chus zmanai. Or the other way around, he started with pigel, but then he shifted to Shaloi Lishma. Fine, but then Nasam B'kli b'olach v'yikti Shaloi Lishman, or he did everything Shaloi Lishman. In all these examples, we do not have a successful pigel at play. Now, we all know that kazayis is the minimum amount for the making of pigel. So he has to have in mind to eat a kazayis in the wrong time, to be makter a kazayis in the wrong time. Now, lechol kazayis b'chutz kazayis l'machar. Suppose in the same avoda, he mixed in chutz and l'machar, chutz l'mkaimai and chutz l'zmanai. I'm going to eat a kazayis outside and a kazayis tomorrow, or the other way around. He had in mind kazayis outside b'chutz kazayis l'machar, kazayis tomorrow, and then kazayis b'chutz and kazayis outside. So again, we don't have a complete pigel because it's mixed in with the other thoughts. Or let's say he paired up a half and a half. He had in mind to eat a half a kazayis outside and half a kazayis tomorrow. Or the order was reversed. Kechatzi zayis b'chutz, kechatzi zayis l'machar, or the other way around. Kechatzi zayis l'machar, kechatzi zayis b'chutz. And all these, the carbon is possible because of these improper intentions, possible, but there's no vein by karas because it's not a pure pigel. Rav Yehuda, he disagrees. Depends what he had in mind first. Zakla. It depends. So in the case where he was thinking Kazai is here and Kazai is there, if the Chus Zmanai came before the Chus L'Mekaimai, then it's pigel. It's pigel because the pigel kicks in before the other thought came into play. But if the thought of Shleibim Kaimai came first, before Machshavas Hazman, then we have Pasal ve'im by cars. They disagree. Either way, order or sequence is irrelevant. Once you mix in other nefarious thoughts, either way it's Pasal ve'im by cars. Okay, so let's just do a quick summary of the Mishnah. Pigel happens when he has in mind to either eat or offer something to the Mizbeach, Chus Zmanai. And that thought, that expression has to take place during one of the primary avodas, and provided there's no other interfering thoughts which would disqualify the pigel from taking place. Now comes an interesting question. We had a discussion the other day regarding a mincha whose shiraim, whose leftovers, some of it went missing. It was a question whether I can proceed and be maktir the kaimet, or do I need the entire entity as one, with nothing missing. And even according to the opinion that you could proceed and do the aktorah of the kaimets on account of the missing shiraim, but certainly you cannot eat the leftover shiraim because they're missing, they're not the way they're supposed to be. Okay, so based on that opinion, we have another question coming up. The question was asked as follows. According to the opinion that holds, shiraim shechasru make mitzvah aktorah. Okay, so he has a bowl, a mencha bowl. He did the kmitza, he's holding the kmitza, and boom, right there, a bird came by, swooped away a little of the shiraim, so some of it's gone, it's missing, it's destroyed. And that happened between the kmitza, being kmitza l'aktorah. Some hold that maktir kaimetz alein, I can proceed and do the aktorah of the kaimetz. I'm not going to hold it back because there's something wrong with the shiraim. But v'kaimelana, we know this. This has been concluded earlier that that allows the kaimetz, but the shiraim itself is less than optimum, and therefore the oisin shiraim asur machila. These shiraim cannot be consumed. They're asur because they got disqualified on account of their missing portion. So now the question is, typically, the aktorah of a kaimetz, as we explained in the Mishnah, is the matir on the shiraim and can generate pigul on the shiraim. Number two, it also extracts it from me'ilah status. Typically, mincha has me'ilah. If one diverts it for personal use, he's committed me'ilah, but that's only until the aktorah of the kaimetz. Once the aktorah of the kaimetz takes place, the shiraim lose their me'ilah status. So in this case, when the shiraim are less than optimal, something missing, they don't have true shiraim status, they can't be eaten, but as we explained, that doesn't hold back the kaimetz from being burnt in mizbeach. Shall we say that the shiraim can still benefit somewhat from the aktorah of the kaimetz regarding those two items, that theoretically they can be recipients of the pigul that happened during the aktorah of the kaimetz, and also regarding losing the me'ilah status. So does the aktorah of the kaimetz somewhat still relate to the shiraim? Can the shiraim relate and benefit from the aktorah of the kaimetz? Although we say no, once they became puzzle, they're totally disengaged, disconnected, and disqualified. Okay, so it pertains to 2 points, the pigul and to me'ilah. You can't eat the shiraim. Question is, shall we say that the aktorah of the kaimetz can still benefit them regarding the number one, the pigul, to establish pigul on the shiraim, to lose the me'ilah status? The answer is no. Even according to Rav Kiva holds, the Amar Zrika Ma'elas L'Yoytze, by an animal carbon, if the basar of the carbon left the confines of the Beis Hamikdash, and you do the Zrika in that type of situation, even though the basar is asr b'achila, because it left the area, but the Zrika can still benefit it, and it loses its me'ilah status. So even according to Rabbi Kiva, who says so, that's only regarding that type of case. It's only yoytze when the basar is simply outside the wall. It's here, but it's on the other side of the wall. Because the basar is still there, still intact. The disqualifying factor there is on account of an external cause. Rashi says, you know what the external cause is? The airspace. Aver Yerushalayim, Poislay, Shiatzim and Akloim. You know what makes the item that's Yoitze possible? The airspace outside. So it's an external cause. It's not inherently wrong, inherently deficient. Something externally disqualifying it. So you can understand that it could still relate to what's going on inside and still benefit from these rikavul, but in our case, with the shiraim are missing. It's an inherent deficient within the shiraim itself. They're lacking the material. In this case, the aktorah of the kaimetz will not benefit the shiraim at all. It doesn't relate to it. Amalei Rava, Adrab says Rava, just the opposite. I disagree. I feel Rabbi Lezer. The Amar Ein Zrika Me'elas L'Yoytze, even Rabbi Lezer disagrees with Rabbi Kiva, who says that when the basar leaves the area, Zrika does not benefit the basar. You can argue and say Hanami L'Yoytze, it's only by Yoytze the lesson b'finim because it's not here. It's out of the picture. Avachisarim, but the shiraim which are still here, just missing somewhat. These are b'finim, it's still around. Mahanid L'Aktorah, certainly the aktorah of the kaimetz will benefit the shiraim. Amar Rav. Rava continues, how do we know this is true? That the Haktorah of the Comments will impact the Shirayim even in this case. This is not Rava Mishnah. HaKoimet says mincha, he does the Kmitza on the Mincha lechal shriya b'chutz to eat the Shirayim outside. A kazayis mishriya b'chutz, or the kazayis, a portion of the Shirayim. And we're going to assume that we're talking that there's nothing left other than a Shirayim, other than a kazayis. So in the first case, the entire Shirayim was around. The second case, only a kazayis of the Shirayim was left over. The rest went missing. It's gone, destroyed. In fact, we have a Reb Chia who further elaborates on these cases, and he says, he did Kmitza on the Mincha, etc., etc. Like Tony Oikazayis. He did the Kmitza to eat the Shirayim outside. And Reb Chia, interestingly, does not relate to a case of just a Kazayis. He omits that case that was mentioned in the Mishnah. You know why? Why does Reb Chia not relate to a case of having in mind to eat a Kazayis at the Shirayim? My time in Loitone Kazayis. You know why? Lav, let's assume you know why, because when it says Kazayis, it implies that there's nothing left other than a Kazayis. This is the classic case of Shirayim Shechasru. He did the Kmitza, then the Shirayim disappeared except for a Kazayis. Lav going Shechasru Shirayim, become a Kazayis, and all that remains a Kazayis. And the reason why Reb Chia steered clear of this case is because it's going to create confusion if he should incorporate it into his depiction of events. Why? You see, we have basically two parts, different variations of Pigul thoughts. We have the Pigul that took place during the act of Kmitza. So Mishnah has two cases. He did the Kmitza to eat the Shirayim tomorrow, or to makta the Kaimitz tomorrow, or a Kazayis of the Shirayim tomorrow, or Kazayis of the Kaimitz, be burned tomorrow. Now here it's clear that the Lashon, Kazayis, regarding the Kaimitz, certainly means that the entire Kaimitz is here. Not that just a Kazayis was left over, because he's doing the Kmitza right now, right? So apparently the full Kmitza is here, nothing missing. He just had a mind to take a Kazayis of this Kaimitz and burn it tomorrow. So there's no room for confusion in this clause of the Mishnah. So again, when he's doing the Kmitza, to be makter a Kazayis of the Kaimitz tomorrow, it means a Kazayis of the entire existing Kaimitz. Nothing missing. Whereas when he has a mind to be makter a Kazayis of the Shirayim tomorrow, it can very well be that the entire Shirayim is missing except for the Kazayis. That could work. That's not very confusing. It's just that when we move on to the next cases, let's say the Pigul took place during the Avodah of Matan Kli, or Hiluch of the Kohen Mizbeach, or the Haktorah itself. There we have to be careful in our wording. Because here, again, you can have one of two types of thoughts. Either he can have a mind to do a Kazayis of the Shirayim tomorrow, which would mean that even if everything is missing except for Kazayis, he had a mind to eat that Kazayis tomorrow. So Kazayis means that was all that was left. But if he has a mind to burn a Kazayis of the Kaimitz tomorrow, now we have to be careful. This cannot relate to a case where all that's left is a Kazayis, because if any part of the Kaimitz goes missing, the Kaimitz is possible. So here you have to learn that Kazayis means entire Kaimitz is here. Just he has a mind to burn a Kazayis of this entire existing Kaimitz tomorrow. So it starts getting confusing. What does Kazayis mean? A portion of the entire, existing entity, or that everything disappeared except for this Kazayis? By the Shirayim, it can mean that's all that's left. By the Kaimitz, no. The entire Kaimitz must be here in order to process the Mincha properly. So it gets confusing. If we should relate to the case of Kazayis, what does it mean? Part of the whole? All you have left is a Kazayis? So we wanted to steer clear of this whole case. Since in those cases, when he's having the Pigul thought during the Matan Kli, Hiluch, and Haktorah, making reference to a case of Oikazayis would just throw us off. Leimasnle Oikazayis Shirayim. It's confusing if we relate to a case where you had a mind to eat a Kazayis at the Shirayim at the wrong time, because then what happens when he says a Kazayis of the Kaimitz? it's a totally different meaning. Kazayis of the Sharaim can mean that's all that's left. But a kazayis of the kaimitz, inevitably, the kaimitz has to be here. So kazayis here means a kazayis of the entire kaimitz. So it has two different meanings. So that's why Reb Chia steered clear of that. Regarding those avodos, b'kmitza nami. Likewise, in the first case, where the pigul took place during the act of kmitza, where, again, there were two possibilities. Either he had a mind to burn a kazayis of this kaimitz outside, and certainly kaimitz is still here. He's doing the kmitza right now, nothing's missing. So there's no room for confusion, even though when he has a mind to eat a kazayis of the shirayim outside, it can mean that the rest of the shirayim disappeared. But it's pretty clear what each term means. But since he avoided referring to the case of the kazayis regarding the other examples, because it's confusing, the kmitza nami regarding the pigul that took place during the act of kmitza. Nami lechal shirayim loitonia kazayis, he avoided mentioning the kazayis case regarding eating the shirayim outside. Okay, in any case, says Rava, based on Reb Chia's wording, based on his omission, the fact that he omitted any reference to a case of kazayis, which we understand is based on trying to avoid confusing cases, because the term kazayis can very well mean it's all gone except for this kazayis. Now, if that's the meaning of kazayis, in our Mishnah as well, we're assuming it has the same meaning, that kazayis means there's nothing left but a kazayis. So you had the kmitza, or the machshava to eat the last remaining kazayis at a shirayim, because the rest of it's gone, to eat it in the wrong time. Tani Seif, and the Mishnah continues and says, it's pigul. Tani Seif, pigul, v'chayav v'nolav kares. Okay, so you see that generates pigul. Alma mahani lu aktorah. Right, so Mishnah speaks about a case where he did let's say the aktorah of the kaimitz to eat a kazayis, which we're understanding to mean everything's gone except for a kazayis of the shirayim. So it's shirayim shechosru ben kmitza l'aktorah. The Mishnah says there's pigul, there's kares. Alma mahani lu aktorah. Apparently the aktorah of the kaimitz does impact the shirayim even when they're in a less than optimal state, even though they're almost gone, just a kazayis left. That's a right, in my opinion, says Rava, that it works. Abaye responds, no. Perhaps your interpretation in Reb Chia's discussion, deducing that his omission indicates that the lashon kazayis means there's nothing left but a kazayis, which is the basis for your raya, that even shirayim that went missing can be processed. No, that's not that. I can understand the brisa differently. You know why Reb Chia avoided mentioning oy kazayis? Because that wouldn't be enough to make pigul. Let's say everything is here, nothing's missing. Pigul only happens when he has a mind to process the entire thing, or to eat the entire thing in the wrong time, not just a kazayis of it. As we find back in Maseches Zvachim regarding Bachutz, remember the halachas, right, of doing shchita and haktorah outside the migdash, there's kares. According to Belazar, it's not enough to have a mind just to go ahead and do a kazayis of this mitzvah. You have to do the entire package outside, the entire carbon as one entity. You can't separate it. Likewise regarding pigul, it's inseparable. Unless he has a mind to do the entire thing, it's not pigul. Hamani Rabbi Belazar, going to Rabbi Belazar, it's not as we find in Maseches Zvachim, HaKaimetz, V'alavayna. So you have the kmitza, you have the levayna of a mincha v'akteris, all the akteris that is brought on a daily basis. Minchas kayan, mincha v'kayin, minchas kayan meshech, mincha v'kayin gadol, minchas nesachan, the mincha that comes with the carbon. Shehikriv ma'achas men kazayis b'chutz chayiv. Takes a kazayis of his material, offers it outside the mikdash, is chayiv. That's the Chachamim's opinion. Rabbi Lezer disagrees. It's all one inseparable entity. Rabbi Lezer poiter, Achi Yaakov is cooler. Rabbi Lezer says he's exempt until he takes the entire carbon and does it outside. Likewise, by pigul, it's only going to generate pigul if he had a mind to take the whole kaimetz and do it outside, or the whole kaimetz to do it in the wrong time, not just a kazayis of it. That wouldn't be enough. That explains why Reb Chia avoided any reference to kazayis, because regarding the aktar of the kaimitz, it's irrelevant to say, well, kazayis or the kaimitz outside. It's not enough to make pigul. Likewise, b'shirayim nami lamasni kazayis. Likewise, when it comes to consuming the shirayim, he also avoided any mention of kazayis because he didn't want to, go there. So Abaye is pretty much negating Rava's premise that we're talking that something went missing. Nothing's missing. Everything's right here. The reason why he avoided the Lashon Kazayis was for a different reason. So it's unrelated to our discussion, right? Let's go back a second. Now, Shaila, where by Shirayim, that's a Chasru. Whether the Aktar of the Kmitza can impact the Shirayim, well, we're not talking about that case. Well, says Reb Lezer, if in fact Reb Chia is following Reb Lezer's opinion, so one case here is that he's being makter the kaimetz, right, with the machshava of pigul. According to Reb Lezer, that too wouldn't be enough, even if it's the entire kaimetz. The kaimetz comes together with levayna. It's one package, inseparable. He had to refer to both. He does the kmitza with the intention to makter the kaimetz and levayna outside. As we find, likewise, according to Reb Lezer, regarding the halacha of b'chutz, the snan comes to levayna. Let's shift back to the halacha of sheicha dumala b'chutz, right? So if he does it outside, kaimetz and levayna, one of them is chayev, right? That's a Tanakama shita. Sheker es echad men b'chutz chayev. Reb Lezer poiter. He says no, he's poiter achi yakrav eshnei, unless he does both outside the Beis Hamikdash. You see that kaimetz and levayna are a pair, inseparable. Likewise, by the case of pigul, one wouldn't be enough. So Reb Chia, who indicates that even the machshava of pigul during the kmitza is enough to make to makter the kaimetz, would be enough to make pigul. That's inconsistent with Reb Lezer. Well, says the Gemara, that's only because you're talking about a mincha that has levayna, but there are some minchas that don't have levayna, like a minchas chayte. So perhaps that's what it's talking about. The Bryce is talking about a kaimetz of a minchas chayte, which has no levayna. See, Reb Lezer agrees that the aktar of the kaimetz itself is a complete act and can generate pigul. So you mean to say that the Tana went out of his way to discuss just a single unlikely case? The Tana went out of his way just to discuss just an unlikely case of minchas chayte, a very not standard case. And yeah. Rav Dimi. Likewise, Rav Dimi arrived. He said Reb Lezer, quoted Reb Lezer, the Brisa, that in fact the discussion here is regarding minchas chayte that avoids any issue of levayna. Kaimetz minchas chayte, Reb Lezer, going to Reb Lezer. On the one hand, we need the full package, but it's a kaimetz minchas chayte. All you have is the kmitza, not the levayna. So the kmitza is enough, provided it's the full kmitza that he's doing or that he's having in mind, not just a kazayas of it. Okay, so where are we holding? We had a shaila regarding a mincha that had kmitza done to it, but part of the shirayim went missing. You can't eat the shirayim. The question is, can the haktar of that kaimetz, if you hold, you can proceed. So the haktar of that kaimetz, does it impact the shirayim or not? Regarding me'ilah, regarding pigul, Rava says yes, Abaye said no. Now comes Rava and he says, you know what, I agree to Abaye. Hadam, Rava came back and says, you know what, Lamos of the Amri, I'm going to agree that the haktar of this, in this type of case, will not benefit the shirayim. The Sanya. We have a brayso regarding the lechem haponim. The pasuk calls it kodesh kodashim hu. What's the word hu telling us? Has to be complete, intact, whole, not broken apart, not sliced. You meant to know even if one of the breads fell apart, after they took away the spoons, after they started the akrava, everything is possible. You can't be makter the bazichim and benefit the breads. Okay, so even if you makter the bazichim, the breads are possible. It's like a mincha that's chasa, right? Something went wrong with the material. Let's make a diuk. Let's imply hayatas. Suppose nothing went wrong physically, just location-wise. One of the breads was taken out of the area and became possible, and he was makter the spoons of levayna. Hani dika kavayik sheres. So let's assume that the ones that are left back and that are still here are kosher. So clearly, we're going like the Shita, that you can process even something which went outside the area. Uman shamas like the Omar Zrika me'elis liyoytze. Now, who's of the opinion that Zrika can benefit even material that was taken out of the area? That's Rabbi Kivi, discussed earlier. Omar, and we find that he says, Nifr Saloi, that only if it leaves the area, it's a location issue, but if it broke apart, it's inherently deficient, it will no longer relate to the Torah. Okay, so likewise, by Shiraim Shechasru, it's too far gone. Actually, Abaye came back and answered this question. Abaye, no. Miktoni Yatzas. Who's to say, to make this implication, this diuk, that if one leaves the area, it can still benefit from the Vidil Moha Nitmis. Hanach Aksheris. Maybe the diuk should be regarding Tumah. Brisa says breakage is problematic, but if one bread becomes tameh, no, it can still benefit from the aktorah of the bozich. Hanach Aksheris, the rest, the rest of the chales are kosher. Why? My time at the Maratz sits, because regarding Tumah, there's a special dispensation that sits, the plate, the forehead plate of the Kohen Gadol can override it, as though it's not Tameh, and deem the Aktorah process successful. The Maratz sits, that's why. Tumah is not so severe. Aval Yotzas, but certainly if it leaves the area, when there's a psul of Yoteloi, the Aktorah would not benefit the item that left. Why? Because Rabbi Lezer, actually going to Rabbi Lezer, who disagrees with Rabbi Kiva, the Amar who says, Zrika cannot benefit something which left the area. And perhaps that's why we're in trouble. Truthfully, the Brisa could have mentioned Yaitse as well, not just breakage. The reason why the Brisa chose to speak about breakage, to teach us something interesting. Hakamash, when the point of the Brisa is to stress that even though it's right here, it's just broken, still the Aktorah will not help it. But again, we're going like Rabbi Lezer, who says when there's something deficient, left the area, etc., the Zrika, by a carbon, or in the case of the Chamapanim, the Aktorah of the Bazich will not benefit. Aval Rabbi Kiva, but according to Rabbi Kiva, which is really the subject matter of our whole discussion today. It was only according to Rabbi Kiva that we even had our discussion. The Amar who says Zrika Me'elis Liyaitse, when material leaves the area, the Zrika can still be effective regarding that material, regarding Me'ila, etc. So perhaps afilu chasar nami mahari le'aktorah. Likewise, if part of the mincha goes missing, shiraim shechasru, or lechem aparim that's breaking, or etc., perhaps the aktorah of the bazichin or the kaimis can still benefit it. We don't really have a resolution on that. So ironically, Abaye, who had opposed Rava's opinion, here is coming sort of to defend Rava. No, could be according to Rabbi Kiva, it works. So it's sort of back and forth without a clear, resolution on this. Okay. Continues the mission. One needs to be thinking about a kazayas of carbon material in order to generate pigul. I'm going to eat a kazayas, I'm going to makter a kazayas. What if he mixes and matches? I'm going to eat half a kazayas tomorrow and be makter half a zayas tomorrow. So combined, you have a total of a kazayas, but it's comprised of two different types of activities. Kasher, the mincha is kasher, the carbon is kasher, because you can't combine two different functions. Shein achil of aktorah mitzdarf, you can't combine achil of aktorah. Comes the Gemara with a diuk. Time, the reason why it's okay in this case is because you're mixing and matching two unrelated functions, two unrelated activities. Time with lechel, aktor, you're combining eating and being makter. That doesn't combine. Let's make a diuk. Suppose the kazayas was comprised of different combinations. Ha-lechel, v'lechel. He had in mind to eat half a zayis of edible leftovers, which are meant for eating, and to eat a half a zayis of unsuitable material for consumption, for instance, the kaimets. Ha-lechel, v'lechel. Davar shein dark lechel, something that's not meant to be eaten. Mitzdaref. It joins and it makes pigul, because the entire kazayis is being planned to, he's planning to eat it. Despite half of it not being suitable for consumption, really, Vaktani, we have the piece back in the beginning of the Mishnah ratio which says, no. The machshava has to relate to suitable materials only. Lechol davar shadarka lechol. Lakter davar shadarka lakter. And we learn from there, davar shadarka lechol in. Achila must be related to shiraim, which is meant to be eaten, but not to a kaimet, which is meant for the mizbeach and not for personal consumption. Shein darka lechol loy, and here we say otherwise. Says the Gemara, you're right. We're talking about different opinions. Man Tana, who's the author of the most recent piece of Mishnah? That's a different opinion. Amar Rabbi Yeri, Amani Rabbi Elazar, the Amar who says you could mix and match. Even if he plans on eating mizbeach material, that can generate pigul. The Amar who says machashvin, machilas adam, machilas mizbeach, machilas mizbeach, machilas adam. Even if he planned on offering to the mizbeach something which he's meant to eat, or vice versa, it makes pigul. The snanas we find in the Mishnah later on. The Kabbalah says, he did the kmitza to eat the kaimitz. Or to be maked the shirayim. Kosher, that's not pigul. Rabbi Elazar, paisel, he says it's pasul. Even though it's not pigul, but it's pasul. Even though he mixed and matched. That's one approach. Abaye Amar Filu Teimer Rabbanon. You know what? This Mishnah could be going even like the Rabbanon, who say you cannot mix and match. But don't make this type of inference. Don't say, well, you can't combine achila of aktara, but you could combine achila of edibles with achila of inedibles. No. That's not the right way to learn the Mishnah. Rather, the implication should be as follows. But if you were to think as follows, lechol, to eat a half a zayis of the edibles, the shirayim, v'lechol, and eat a half a zayis of davashein dark lechol. Don't say this. This is not the correct way to learn the Mishnah. Rather, make the diuk like this. Lechol, v'lechol, davashein dark lechol. But if he has a mind to eat a half a zayis and another half a zayis, meaning the first half a zayis tomorrow, the second half a zayis, outside or vice versa, that makes pigul. Sorry, that disqualifies the korban. It's not pigul, but it makes it possible. That's what the Mishnah means. But certainly, if he has a mind to eat a kaimitz, that's a non-starter. Ask the Gemara, what's the point of the Mishnah here? That you can join together half a zayis of tomorrow with half a zayis of outside to disqualify the korban. We have a clear Mishnah already discussing this point. We already discussed this case. Lechol kazayis b'chutz kazayis l'machar. You had a mind to eat a kazayis outside of kazayis tomorrow, or the other way around, the kazayis l'machar kazayis b'chutz, or half and half, right? Or kachatzi zayis b'chutz and kazayis l'machar, or vice versa, kazayis l'machar, kazayis l'chutz. In all these cases where you join together l'machar and b'chutz, it's a disqualifying thought. Paslavei makaris. So again, what's the point of repeating this now in the last part of the Mishnah? Slowly, what's the point of the seif of the last halach here? For its own sake, as we're going to see, it's not really needed. For the implication, that you can combine l'machar and b'chutz to make it possible. We already know that from the Reisha. If the point is to teach us that you could combine half a zayis of the shirayim with a half a zayis of the kaimitz, we know that's not true. We know that from the first part of the Mishnah. It needs to be davar shtar l'echel, suitable material, as opposed to eating the kaimitz. That doesn't work. If the main point of the Mishnah is to teach us l'echel v'lahaktir, that you cannot join together half a zayis of eating with half a zayis of burning, again, that's old news. Midyuki the Reisha Shamasmra. That will be learned from an implication of the Reisha. How do we see that from the Reisha? How do we see you can't combine eating and burning? Why? Because the Mishnah already told us that if you had a mind to eat a half a zayis of the shirayim with a half a zayis of the kaimitz, it doesn't work. So you see, you can't mix shirayim and kaimitz, the hashta, and even in that case, look, even in that case, if he has a mind to eat half a zayis of shirayim with half a zayis of kaimitz, you say, no match. Amrus, you say, it's certainly if it's combining eating and burning, two different activities. Of course, it goes without saying it doesn't work. So all this is old news. What's the purpose of the halacha and the seifa? So actually there is a purpose. I would think maybe, eating and burning is not as bad as eating and eating, something which you're not meant to eat. There's a point in highlighting the case of half a zayis of eating shirayim and half a zayis of burning the kaimitz. There's a point of mentioning it, because I would think it works. Because look, each half is being done properly. Perhaps I would think the Hosam. Yeah, the other case where he's planning on eating half of shirayim, half of kaimitz, that doesn't work because the loy ki urcha kamachasha. It's not the appropriate way. He's trying to eat half of the kaimets. But in our case, he's doing everything properly. I'm going to eat half a zayis of the shirayim. That's properly done. I'm going to burn half of the zayis of the kaimets. Again, that's properly processed. So each one on its own is being processed properly. Perhaps I could combine them. But in this case, regarding this half a zayis, I'm thinking properly to eat it. Regarding the half a zayis of the kaimets, again, I'm thinking properly. Able to start, perhaps I can combine it to make pigul. Kamashma comes the mission and says no. You cannot join together two separate activities, two separate functions, two separate events. Okay, so bottom line is, we have a mission here which says you can't combine achila and akhtara. We had a diuk, but if he had a mind eating shirayim, combining with eating kaimet, which is not meant for eating, it would work. Is that so? So one approach says yes. We're going to look at you can combine to make it possible. Second approach is no. That's not what the mission is implying. It's just telling us that you cannot combine achila and akhtara. That's all. I would think you could. The answer is you can't, but certainly if he's trying to combine eating the shirayim with eating of the kaimets, there wouldn't be any way to make that into pigul. All the best to you and hatzlacha.